Hi, I'm Bethany, and this is my Ranger Nerd story. So my Ranger Nerd story isn't quite as similar to a lot of the Ranger Nerd stories out there, because most people it's like, you know, oh, I watched it ever since I was a kid, and you know, like I just kept watching it even as an adult and became an even bigger fan of it later. My story is actually, when I was a kid, I was in an extremely, conservative family. We weren't allowed to watch anything with, like, magic or, like, anything with, like, monsters or things like that in it. So I wasn't actually allowed to watch Power Rangers. For most of my life, I didn't know what Power Rangers was until I was 18 years old. And I met my now husband, at that time my boyfriend. We were starting to go out and he introduced it to me. I remember actually one of the first weeks that we were going out, he was super excited and he came up to me and he's like, oh my god, I have to show you something that I got, it's the greatest thing ever. And I actually thought it was a gift for me, so I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And so he opens his trunk and he shows me a Power Ranger Morpher. It's actually that one right there, up there. I don't know if you can see it. If you can't, it's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Morpher. And so he shows me it. I had no idea what it was. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Is it for me? But like, yeah, so I felt a little embarrassed and a little disappointed because I was expecting a gift for me. And then that's kind of when he started telling me about Power Rangers, because he was like, what, you don't know about Power Rangers at all? And I was like, no. And he actually, got me into a bunch of stuff that I wasn't allowed to watch as a kid, but I was 18, so I was like starting to venture out. So he got me into some movies that I didn't watch, and then, little by little, he didn't want to full on show his Power Ranger fandom to me yet, because he didn't want to scare me away. But so he started me off with the Power Rangers Time Force series, and I really, really liked it. So we started watching and I was like, wow, I thought it was going to be a little bit more, kiddish, but I really liked the story, and of course there's some corny lines, but, I really enjoyed it. And there's some things that it's a lot different when you're watching it like starting as an adult, because if you start as a kid then it's just like, oh my god, this is my childhood, coming back to me. But for me it was like a few things I was like, okay, have to get into it a little bit more because I'm an adult starting to watch it, and it's it was made for kids originally. So I started watching Time Force. And then I think the next one I watched was Mystic Force, and then RPM. And I really, really liked it. Though when I finished the Time Force series, I was pretty upset because I was like, why didn't they have Jen and Wes kiss at the end? But then of course it's a kid's show and they didn't want to show kissing, but they should have. It would have. I was very upset. I actually painted this one for my husband as a as a birthday present for him. It was one of his favorite series and one of mine. So anyway, but yeah, I really like, the stories that they have in it, and the background story of like each ranger. And I thought, it was a really cool thing to watch first the Time Force series, because, it had such a strong female lead in it. But yeah, so, I really did get into it, and now the seasons I have completed is Time Force, Mystic Force, RPM, SPD, Lost Galaxy, In Space. I think there might be one more. I started the Super Sentai Dino Charge one. So I watched like half of that. So I'm still trying to catch up on the ones that have already been released, but I hope to finish all of them someday and complete my childhood experience that I never got. So basically my story is, couldn't watch it as a kid, started as an adult, you know, as something to kind of just have something to share with my boyfriend, but now, you know, it's mine too. Like, you know, I like watching this series, and I'm about to go to Ranger Stop in a week, and I'm really excited for that because I do really enjoy the events, and now I am officially a Ranger nerd. So that is my Ranger nerd story.